people have been wondering, people have been wondering when and where will people come back to the theaters to watch a Bollywood movie? क्यों नहीं आ रहे लोग थिएटर में बॉलीवुड पिक्चर देखने? देन मेरे को उनको जाके दिखाना है कि सिनर्स देखो, सब लोग आ रहे हैं देखने के लिए, द एंटायर थिएटर इज फुल, which just tells you very clearly that if you have a good script, good direction, good acting, good, the foundation is good, people will come to watch it.
Dude, it's that movie because it's like it's almost like two movies in one. And when the movie flips into the, like, which is all there in the trailer also, in the supernatural side of it, but the transition is so beautifully done. Like, ek to I went crazy over the music because that's my
music is
I
insane.
love the blues. Yeah, I'm crazy over that genre of music, and the way these guys put it through the film, because it's a musical. If you really think about it, it's a vampire musical.
Bro, Kautuk had the best take on it. He said this is what a masala movie should be like, because if you think about it, Sinners has everything. You have twins, you have action, you have music, you have supernatural, you have love story, you have drama. There's everything, social commentary.
Yeah.
Everything rolled into one.
Dude, like,
I mean, yeah, no, go for it.
I was watching Sinners and I felt like, you know, if only Circus with Ranveer Singh just slightly
Missed opportunity. Opportunity.
Karan, you watched Sinners?
I saw Sinners in theaters, and I don't even know why. Like, I'm wondering, because obviously the film's great, and like that is the bottom line. But what is it that drew audiences from the jump? Like, I didn't see a trailer. I didn't like read too much about it. It was just like from the poster, and obviously like Ryan Coogler is such a great director, and that pairing, right? That like they're like the modern Scorsese De Niro at this point, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that, but maybe it was word of mouth. Like it literally just caught fire, and then everyone was talking about it. It became like the conversation of the week.
And the thing is, like this is one of those few movies where like I remember hearing about it, like you said, right? Didn't hear about it from the trailers or anything. Heard about it first through reviews coming out on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like it's got a crazy Rotten Tomatoes, whatever. And then not just that, it was people going like, you know what? Some movies have like a 98% fresh, but they're dull or boring, right? This one you go in, and it's like it's everything you want out of a 98% fresh. Like, this was a fresh freaking movie.
No, but I also
Really
think,
like
Jordan Peele walked so Ryan Coogler could run.
Yeah.
Because like his formula with Get Out was, I think, the bedrock of all of these films that have come. Because in the last 10 years, if you notice, if you try and like give social commentary just in your face, people get annoyed. But you give it like a filter of another, like a genre film, suddenly that message is so much more palatable. You know, like people start having discussions on it. Like the entire time we were watching Sinners, we're like, I can't wait to go back home and check all the, you have those explainer videos, then you say chat, like we've literally only been doing that. वो scene देखा उसमें वो ये बोल रहा है, ये कर रहा है. Like that creates so much. Yeah, I think 20 of my friends have now gone to watch it because we were all together yesterday and few of us had watched it and we were just discussing it. They got so excited, they've all gone and watched it today.
No, also, I love the portrayal of Ku Klux. Every time the Ku Klux Klan is portrayed as idiots, like just absolute dumb fucks, I enjoy it. Like again in I think what Tarantino, Django में they just
Black Klansmen.
It's just, Black Klansmen. Every time they're portrayed as idiots, it's the most funny thing for us to watch because it's just you can shit on them like without any guilt. That's that, and it's so much fun to watch.
But I agree so much with the sentiment ki, you should, if you have some kind of like social message, put it under some kind of genre film, right?
Yeah. I mean, Get Out is like, like you said with Jordan Peele.
Yeah,
Get Out is kind of that shining example of that.
Yeah, and like, like if you want to talk about like surrogacy, Chori, Chupke, man. Like that's the kind of like hard-hitting social message.
You know what I miss? Like, and not to like just jump into some conversation about Chori, Chupke.
Which we should.
Which by the way, directed by Abbas Mastan.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind, bro.
Which is insane. Like, how is that?
That's an
guy-
Abbas
they
Mustan
made
twist
race.
right
Yeah.
there.
They made race.
Yeah.
Like, this is, how is this
The
possible?
only
But-
thing, the only way I would have, if I didn't see the final credit, the only way I would have believed this is a Abbas Mustan movie is if the baby comes out and then ऐसे mask निकलता है and उसके अंदर सलमान या बॉबी देओल है. Like that would have been an Abbas Mustan twist.
I miss the time where like Bollywood used to copy films, but not in
Yeah.
a very direct shot by shot way. They would like have a separate first half and a separate second half. So like the first half of Chori Chori Chupke Chupke is like, by the way, it's such a fucking long title anyway. The first half of it is Pretty Woman. Like where he goes to meet.
Yes.
The first half is Pretty Woman. Like they've literally just lifted that whole shopping scene, all of that. Then
Everything.
the second half is a completely different film. Like just a completely, like it's not even connected to that first, the vibe of that rom-com in the first half. It's insane.
Wait, so then should we just start with Chori Chori Chupke Chupke? I think there's a lot to
I think
unpack.
there's a lot to unpack in Chori Chori Chupke Chupke, but उसके पहले चालू करते हैं आज का एपिसोड in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Internet Set. So, a show we take random facts of even stories and we talk about it. And today we are going to be talking about the worst of Bollywood. And we've completely chosen to ignore and mention. Welcome,
Yeah.
Karan Mirchandani to this.
Hello.
First 10 minutes people are watching कि हम लोग कुछ बोलने वाले हैं कि नहीं, कौन है ये?
They're like, who is this? What if I just pretended to be someone on the, like, I was
Yeah,
like,
you've
of
been here
course
for
I'm
the
on it.
last 50 episodes. Yeah.
We just like Mandela effect everyone. Like, of course, Karan's been here this whole
He's
time.
always
like,
been there.
Yeah,
And
he's
then we
what
just
are you guys talking
Photoshop
about?
you. We just retroactively Photoshop you in all the remaining podcasts.
Oh my god.
But Karan,
Yeah,
I have to tell you, I'm a big fan of all your content on Instagram. I remember
Reels.
coming across a few of your reels and I was watching it and I'm like, bhai, this guy has had the exact 90s and 2000s Bollywood watching experience because we grew up at a time where na iPad tha, na phone tha, na social media tha. I think we used to watch everything. So you'd watch it in the theater, then you'd watch whatever fucking released on Sony, Star Plus, ZTV, wherever the fuck. And like these movies are fresh in my head. Like I don't remember movies from the last year, maybe, but the movies we'll talk about right now, you'll remember like they were
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah,
quite Indian
I used to go to like, so people ask me like, how do you know about Bollywood so much? It's not that I know everything about it, it's just that I talk about it a lot, so it seems like it. But back when I was a kid, like, I don't know if this is true for you guys, but it was literally like, we'll go to the theater. The film didn't almost matter, like which
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
Didn't,
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, we read some review, so let's go for this Arjun Rampal film. Like, okay, sure. And then you would go and like the experience was not like, oh, this is a great film, good film, bad film. It was like, it's a film. I'm
It's a
getting to
film.
watch this. And
Yeah.
if you're watching that many films on a weekend, you are watching some really bad films. Like just by the hit rate, you're watching some of the worst films ever.
Bro, it's so weird. You mentioned that back then you were just watching films, so you just went to watch a movie. Yeah, it's an Arjun Rampal movie. I did that. Those movie was called Avarapan ya Deewanapan, one of the two. It was one of the puns.
Yeah.
Avarapan.
Where Arjun Rampal is there and Diya Mirza is there. Okay, and they
Oh
have
my
this
God.
one corny ass scene with all the friends, right? They start huddling and they do hoo.
It's Deewana Pan.
In this
Deewanapan.
Deewanapan. It's Deewanapan, bro. The movie is
Which
shit.
one did you say? You went Avarapan or Pagalpan?
Avarapan is Imran Hashmi. Now I remember. Deewanapan
Yeah.
is Arjun Rampal.
Do you remember the year?
Arjun Rampal. I watched this in the fucking theater. उधर मैं चंदन में स्टॉल में बैठ के 2 समोसा 1 कोक पी के खा के देख रहा हूँ और पूछ रहे क्यों? Why
One
did I
second.
watch?
This was the debut movie of Arjun and Diya.
No, it was only Arjun Rampal.
Because no,
Not debut, one of the first. No?
So Star Screen Awards में this movie won for Star Screen Award for Most Promising Newcomer, male, Arjun Rampal, and was nominated for Star Screen Award for Most Promising Newcomer, female, Diya Mirza.
अच्छा, so दोनों का
I
debut.
think दो good looking models को एक फिल्म में डालो देखते हैं क्या होता है.
Produced by Vashu Bhagnani. बोल दे.
Yes,
Oh my god.
yes.
Case in point, guys. Grew up in late 90s,
have a problem.
2000s without any. You fucking knew everything.
I mean, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that 2001 is remembered for Dil Chahta Hai and Lagan. Like, why aren't we talking about Deewanapan?
Deewanapan.
Like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
With Karan, I've been watching about it. One thing that I think the first video that I saw of yours was the Kuch Kuch Hota Hai conspiracy, where you're like, Kajol is the same character from Gupt. Was that the conspiracy that you were
No.
going
It was that Kajol and Shah Rukh conspired to kill Rani.
Kill Rani
together.
Mukherjee.
Yeah.
Ah.
And they
For the
left a bunch of
insurance
letters.
money.
Yeah.
Directed by Karan Mastan. Karan Abbas Mastan.
One second.
But dude,
actually-
for some reason in my head I just connected कि ये गुप्त वाली है and this is her next iteration in life.
I mean, it could be. That could be the next stage of that theory, I think. That
But-
is the
but
same Kajol.
that really improves a lot of that movie because there's a clear
Yeah.
reason now for a lot of this to happen.
That's the
letters-
case.
the
That's the
letters that-
KCU. KCU, Kajal Cinematic Unibrows.
Yeah. But the letters are actually from Kajol to the daughter, not Rani Mukherjee.
Yeah,
They were planning it.
so that then it becomes the daughter's idea to get them together. So it's the perfect plan, no? So it's not like the dad intended to do it. It's like, oh, the daughter's being told no, your mom wanted this. So then it's
Yeah.
clears them of everything.
But also,
Yeah.
now, watching it now as a 33-year-old, you begin to wonder, dude, how did Rani get on board with calling your daughter the name of your father's ex?
Because she was not going to be there, na. She's like Anjali, and then she's out. So
Yeah.
she could
Yeah,
find
but how
deal
did she
with calling her
manipulate?
Anjali.
Yeah, how did Kajol manipulate Rani Mukherjee into naming the daughter Anjali?
It's not like they were meaning were they very close even afterwards? Like what happened in the interim?
It was strange. Also, Rani looks incredible before she dies. Like this is the most,
Yeah.
this is the best looking dead, about to die person. It's like, are we sure?
Yeah,
Should
yeah.
we check if she's dying because she looks so good.
It's like, no,
And then
she's dead. It's like, नहीं sir, एक बार check, नहीं, हो गया. And Shahrukh is just like,
बहुत
sir,
अच्छी दिख
Shahrukh
रही है.
एक बार उसका pulse है, वो उसका हाथ हिल रहा है. नहीं, she's gone. I have to go
she's
to Anjali.
definitely dead. Oh God.
Oh, wow. Okay, but guys, since we're talking about the worst of Bollywood, right? If I just throw it to you, if you had to tell me the worst Bollywood, I know there's a lot, right? We probably have 25 movies ka list each person about the worst of Bollywood. But if I just ask you straight,
Yeah.
Karan, what's the worst Bollywood movie according to you, off the top of your head? What would you
Rudraksh,
say?
man. Rudraksh. I went to the theaters. That's the crazy part about this. This is the part that I should be embarrassed of. In my defense, I was 10, okay? We went and Sanjay Dutt was supposed to be cool back then. It was like, oh, Sanjay Dutt and Suniel Shetty, that seems like it'd be a good film. And I went with my family and my dad, when the massage scene happened, the air massage or whatever he's doing, oil, whatever,
On
where he's
Bipasha.
not, he's not touching her, but he's massaging her.
Reiki.
Correct. So my dad was like, "That's it, we're done. We cannot be sitting here for this."
चलो बेटा. नहीं, पापा,
Your dad got
picture
it pissed
बनती
off.
है.
वो हाथ भी नहीं लगा रहा है. ये कौन सा मसाज होता है? Unrealistic. Okay, wait,
Yeah, that's why he
second.
drew the line.
Karan, could you explain for those who've not seen Rudraksh what the plot of Rudraksh is in very few sentences? What
I
would-
honestly do I remember it well as a plot? Probably not, but I feel I remember, this is what I remember, and you guys can help me with putting the pieces together. But Sanjay Dutt is some man of God who thinks puja is cool. That's him.
He actually says it.
He says it.
there's
Yeah.
Antariksh, can you please pull that thing up again? We have it with us right here.
Yeah, but he deals in the supernatural, paranormal, whatever. He's a scientist also.
Correct. He's a scientist. And then Bipasha Basu's a doctor and she's testing stuff. I don't know why. She's testing rats for some magical power or some
Yeah,
thing that's happening.
She plays Dr. Gayatri Singh, who is a paranormal researcher at the University of California, researching
Wow.
esoteric practices
Wait,
such as
paranormal researcher. Okay. Anyway, continue.
So, researching esoteric practices such as voodoo, spirit possession, magic, and healing powers. She seeks the hidden knowledge that goes into such practices, the knowledge that cannot be explained by science or logic. So, her search for answers brings her and her team of scientists to India. She soon comes across Varun Deshmukh. Okay, Varun Deshmukh is Sanjay Dutt. And
Doesn't look like a Varun. I mean, sorry, Varun, but like Sanjay Dutt does not look like a Varun, does he?
Yeah, it
Look,
doesn't give that Varun vibe.
Yeah.
can there be faker hair than what than what he had? They
One
don't do a
second.
look test or what before they go in.
1 second.
Oh, you think Acha, wait 1 second. You think Sanju Baba would show up for a look test? कि सर परसों शूटिंग है, आप 2 दिन पहले आ जाओ और आप एक लुक टेस्ट करो प्लीज, जस्ट टू चेक. You think Sanjay Dutt is showing up for that?
1 second, guys. Sanjay Dutt, aka Varun Deshmukh, in this movie is a man who is gifted with special intuitive healing powers. He worships and trains by day and works as a bouncer at a club by night.
Yeah. What
That
is
I
the
believe.
song? What is the song that Bipasha like in the club?
खुदाई
Oh my God.
रब ने बनाई. You know, you know the reason I watched Rudraksh is because of the director Mani Shankar, because he's made this movie called 16 December. Okay, which
Of course.
I
Iconic.
fucking love. Dulan ki
Milan
Vidai ka waqt ho gaya.
Soman. Milan Soman, no?
Milan Soman, and so I have a group of friends. We regularly on 16 December watch 16 December and then message each other. Bro, I love that movie. Dude, it is so fun. It is so fun. If you've not watched 16 December, please watch it. So I thought that because he's made that, chal Rudraksh will be okay, supernatural, paranormal, ye wo, because they find some stone which has powers and you're able to reincarnate Ravan, which is, by the way, Suniel Shetty. Yes.
Yeah. It's Ramayan. Like Rudraksh is the film Ramayan, but with like many weird. Yeah. And there's some like, I remember there was like an archaeological, some expedition that's happening and Sunil Shetty is helping work on that. Then he uncovers some black magic thing. And that's
And then
what
he
makes
wears
him evil.
lenses. Then he wears colored lenses and leather jacket and he's Ravan.
Puja makes you cool, man. That's just how it is. What?
The last line on Wikipedia for this movie is, thus, once more, it becomes a battle of good versus evil, where either one must overcome the other. End of the day, the fear maker monsters are always unliked.
Yeah.
In Inka देखना, hey, how to give some sort of social commentary, or you know, like how do we give a story for ये
Just last line.
Wikipedia.
एक एंड पे ब्लैक स्लेट पे एक लाइन लिख दो हिंदी में ऐसे धीरे धीरे.
So wait, you watched it in the theater. How was that?
With Rudraksh, yeah. So it was just like, I remember a friend of mine was a big Sanjay Dutt fan. Like he loved Sanjay Dutt and he was like, dude, Rudraksh is coming out. The way that he would approach, like back then, there wasn't this like, hey, that's definitely going to be a bad film. You know, there's not that filter of like, hey, look at that trailer. It is insane. It was just like, okay, yeah, sure. The pieces are there. I was like viewing it like as, you know how you look at a film like, the actors are Sanjay Dutt and Sunil Shetty. So how bad can it be? Turns out the worst film of the year, probably.
And Sunil Shetty is like, how bad can it be? He's like, hold my beer. Hold my Rudraksh.
Actually, hold my beer and just he's like, I'll get this done.
But I wanted to gauge, like, I don't know if the reaction was, like, for example, not to jump around, but with Nadania, right? Nadania coming out. The perception going in is everyone knows, like, there's a perception that this is a bad film. Now, we're watching it with that lens already. Like, if you waited 2 days to watch it, you already know what the situation is.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't know if there was that collective, like, feeling of, yeah, this is a terrible film. Like, there wasn't that widespread, oh my God, this is the worst film ever. And that there was no hype around it like that. It was like a film that came and went. It's only in retrospect I'm going back and being like, oh my God, that was horrible. Pretentious movie reviews obviously did like the thing. And then it became like canonized as bad film. But when it came out, it was just like, yeah, that's a bad film. Let's move on. You know?
Yeah, the reaction, like, bro, Nadania people have panned. By the way, we've not gotten a chance to talk about it, but in the recent memory, that is one of the movies जो मतलब जो क्या picture बना है, because we've gone in, like my wife and I are sitting and watching it, but हम लोग कैसे देख रहे हैं कि चल हंसते. Can you believe it? Before we've even watched the first frame, we've already made up our mind that we are going to laugh at bad acting. And it delivered on that promise.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was so bad that I couldn't sit beyond 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh,
30
It's
minutes
not
into
funny.
it.
It's not bad acting that's funny. It's just bad.
Just bad. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, nobody does a pass or what, because you try and pitch scripts and all of that. People are like, oh, इसमें character graph नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, what is the motivation of this, or climax में ये change करो. इसका किसी ने नहीं देखा. कुछ भी.
By the way,
He
one
just
thing I
said-
need to tell you. Nadania has 4 writers.
Wow.
There
Yeah,
are
man.
4 writers credited for Nadania.
Yeah, it's and also I need to point out like a connecting thread of Suniel Shetty in both films that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Look at the legacy. Look
And-
at
and-
the work.
and Suniel Shetty was the best part of Nadanya.
Yeah, he looked
Yeah,
great.
Bro, he looks so that's reverse aging जो सुनील शेट्टी का चल रहा है ना bro, because you go and just Google poster for Balwan, for example, and you will see Sunil Shetty with a mullet and like a banyan, and you're just like, how did the producer said इसके साथ picture बनाएंगे हम, right? And you look at him now, he's proper zaddy, bro, looks good, dresses well, like
You
he
know,
looks handsome.
The difference is that back then, very few people had access to protein, apparently, or a gym.
Yeah.
Because like,
That's it.
कि this guy like has a decent body. चल इसको अभी action movie star बना के रहेंगे. Like तू कर. Dialogue नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ नहीं हो रहा. Fuck it.
उसमें सीन था ना, सुनील शेट्टी को डाल दिया, ठीक है, and he's saving somebody. Okay, the bad guys are trying to
Balwan.
escape. Balwan, I think only, but they're trying to escape in an ambassador car. Except this guy puts the gear and गाड़ी आगे ही नहीं जा रही. He's like, अरे क्या हो रहा है? And you see the wheels, they're just turning in the ground. मिट्टी उठ रही है. अरे गाड़ी आगे क्यों नहीं जा रही है? फिर उन लोग टर्न करके पीछे देखते हैं और पीछे सुनील शेट्टी ने गाड़ी को
पकड़ के रख
उठा लिया
Deadlift
है.
किया है.
उसने
Deadlift. Oh.
उठा लिया है पीछे से और पकड़ के बैठा है, तो ये एम्बेसडर कार आगे नहीं जा पा रही. You know that famous meme of him doing like this, where it's just
Yeah.
it's like oodles of muscle, and it's just like that with a mullet. He's lifting a car in that scene.
I need a this begs the question now, like what is the greatest, like what is the best Sunil Shetty performance? If you think about like Sunil Shetty's filmography, is there a great Sunil Shetty performance?
नहीं,
that
हेरा
you're like,
फेरी, हेरा
Border
फेरी,
and
हेरा
हेरा
फेरी.
फेरी.
Border.
Border.
Even
Border.
Mehuna. I liked him in Mehuna.
Shakti.
Shakti.
Shakti Ma. So much spit. The thing I remember from it, so much spit coming out of it.
He's, I think now it's become, because he's also probably like caught up with all the memes and all of that. So he's become self-aware of, they talk about the landmine wala scene.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
literally there's one tank going on. They were supposed to have an entire battalion next to. Nobody comes intervenes. This guy is able to go do it. So now, in some cricket conversation, he was talking about this scene with one of the
The
presenters.
funniest loophole in that scene is, so he's got a landmine which he's going to put behind the tank, and the Pakistani tank guy keeps telling his driver कि पीछे लो, and the loophole is कि अगर if you just stayed in your place, Sunil Shetty's
Yeah.
whole plan would fucking not work. It's such a dumb thing. You have rolled onto the landmine, which you've seen a man slowly carry towards you.
Yeah, man. Border was legitimately like one of my favorite films as a kid.
Oh,
Like,
still
I
is.
loved-
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's still the best war movie that I think India
Yeah.
did.
I wish I didn't like, go back though and watch it. Like I feel like it's one of those films like I enjoy. I watched it like 5-6 times as a kid. But when I rewatched it, I was like, there were some things where I was like, man, Sunny Deol is yelling a lot in this movie throughout. Like that man does not talk in like regular decibel at any
all.
moment.
But that's when it started.
If you
na? I
shut
think
your
that's-
eyes and concentrate, you'll still hear the sound like ऐसे space में गूंजते जा रहा है वो तब से जो उस पे
That was
चिल्लाया
the
था.
original
Sunny
Dolby.
Deol is the worst person for a Black Ops operation. Sunny Deol, it's just
Undercover.
अरे Sunny, we have to be stealth.
अरे
मैं
but,
फॉलो कर रहा हूँ उसको. हाँ? सनी
अगर-
सर, वो अभी आगे चलते जा रही है, मैं उसके पीछे पीछे चलो. सनी, you are undercover, Sunny. Slowly.
Sorry guys, hero love story of a spy has happened, and he has pulled this.
Oh my god! I just for some reason today I was looking at Preeti Zinta's filmography. This is a thing you do, right, on a regular day.
That's what you do. You wake up in the morning
You just
and
look
you're
at
doom
her
scrolling.
filmography.
You're
Yeah,
doom
yeah.
scrolling Preeti Zinta's filmography.
Filmography. So I came across Hero, and at the time it was apparently the most expensive film. Like that was
Yes.
the thing around it.
Yes.
It was like really expensive.
Bro, my mom knew somebody on the production or whatever, because they had the financing was done through the bank my mom was working in. So हम लोग को premiere का tickets दिए कि ये लो आओ to watch the most expensive movie. And this is like 2 years after Gadar, I think. A
Yeah.
few years after
Oh.
Gadar. So this was this big thing after Gadar, and Gadar, matlab, it was cemented in people's head, right? That he's fucking amazing, and now I'll watch anything with Sunny Deol in it. और प्रीमियर टिकट्स मिलते हैं, ब्रो. आई विल नेवर फॉरगेट. हम लोग बैठे हैं और वो गाना याद है, एक था बुल, एक ही थी बुल, बुल
बुलबुल।
बुल ये सुन
बुल,
पा
बुल।
बुल. ठीक है.
Yeah.
उसने गाना बना दिया, फिर उसने बोला 1 मिनट, इसको हम लोग थ्रू आउट द मूवी यूज करेंगे. So one is
Yeah.
when the actual song happens, okay? Then once when either Preeti Zinta dies or he thinks she is dead, the song plays again. Except this time it goes एक था बुल,
एक था,
कितनी
हाँ,
बुल,
half
बुल,
tempo.
बुल.
हाँ.
I mean, it's Gadar, no? It's the Gadar template. Like, even in that,
Yeah.
that Urja Kale Kawa, that song is like, it plays throughout the film, and there's like a sad version, there's a
Yeah.
festive version, there's a
Reprise.
yeah, there's like, I guess we'll put it version.
There's a
and
lo-fi.
just so-
I'm sure there's a lo-fi. Yeah.
Lo-fi Urja Kale Kawa. There's a lo-fi version. It was a
Yeah.
great song, though. Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
song,
it is.
catchy.
It's a great song, but it's just that's what we do with Bollywood. We just take that one song. Like, and TV serials have started doing it. They get the rights to one song because पैसा नहीं है, तो एक गाने का rights और वो गाने को ऐसा churn कर करके sad version, happy version, होली में भी एक डाल दिया. But everything has this one song that becomes the template for that entire TV serial.
Dude,
Which
TV
these guys
shows is
started.
different. TV shows, though, like, I don't know. I mean, this is a reality show, I guess, but like, have you guys seen Laughter Chef? There's like a show called Laughter Chef on Star.
Please
Don't ask me why I know this. I just want to, like, so it's a bunch of people that, like, they do, it's the same thing as Master Chef, but it's not the same
Oh,
thing as
it's
Master
fun.
Chef.
It's actually fun. I've seen a couple of clips from that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But the show, the way that it's produced is like, there is a song for every moment. Every beat gets a new song. Like, anything happens, there'll be a completely different track that plays. I'm like, how can someone watch this?
But
Like,
original or like one of the Bollywood songs plays?
no, Bollywood songs plays.
Oh fuck, बहुत पैसा है बे इनके पास.
Yeah.
No. I think
It's
I think they've got a syndication deal with like one of these T series, Universal. If you look at it, all the songs must belong to like a T series or
It
a
must be,
Universal or one of them. So they've just got like a whole green light.
Laughter chefs, but are they cooking also on the side?
Yeah,
they
they're
are,
cooking.
but like they're making jokes also. They're cooking. Each
They're
of them
not
have a dynamic.
comedians. They're not comedians trying to
They're
cook.
comedians.
They're regular
They're
people who have
comedians
to
trying to
cook
cook.
and do comedy.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna let
No,
you guys
lot of-
decide if they're comedians, you know? Like, I'm gonna leave that to
अच्छा,
you
like
all.
that. It's that old late night format, yeah. Late night format of people trying to cook.
That's
Yeah.
really.
It's interesting. Please check it out. I
Oh.
would not, I'm not recommending it, but I'm saying experience it.
Experience
Yeah.
it.
After you've seen Sinners, then maybe go to Laughter
Then
Chef.
go after
If
that.
you need a palate cleanser after Sinners, watch.
Yeah.
कौतुक, तेरा वर्स्ट बॉलीवुड मूवी बता, कौन सा
In
लगता है
fact,
तुझे?
What I was going to say was very close to what, like taking off from what Karan was talking about. Ki when you went into a movie back in the day, you didn't like, even if you didn't like it, you just thought, oh, that was a disappointing experience, and you went home, right? And you were
Yeah.
like, next time it'll be better. But in retrospect, you begin to realize how bad this was. But a movie that I felt like unbelievably disappointed by, and it has continued to be a fountain of cringe, was Main Prem Ki Deewani Hoon.
Oh fuck, bro.
Because I'm excited about that movie. Was, you know, this was like peak Hrithik craze ke time ke around ka movie, right? And to see it, and it was just, I remember being like amazed at how much this guy, like, it was just a bloated thing. Even when you the cartoon parrot, everything about it, like, it was just bad, and it's continued to be bad.
Bro, it just seemed like, you know, like Suraj Barjatia came with the script. He gave it to
Yeah.
each of his actors, and he said, overdo this. You see, whatever, like, do it here, because literally the best part of the movie, for some reason, seems like Abhishek Bachchan, because he's
easily.
the only guy
Yeah, who's
who's
not
not talking like this, who's not always excited, or not always, or not playing a
Yeah.
fucking electric guitar without it being plugged, which sounds like an acoustic guitar. You know, there's no talking dog who's animated, who's screaming. There's a
That
fucking
is
parrot.
your problem.
क्या चल रहा है, bro?
Is what you're catching in this entire thing. But
Right.
the thing is, you can tell in the entire Suraj Barjatia, filmography, where he got addicted to cocaine, and then he let it go. You know, you can tell. It's like, oh, okay, this is the point. And then, you know, and you should help people who are like trying to get over it.
Sanskari cocaine, like very,
Yeah.
like for the family,
Yeah.
But great
accessible.
songs. The movie had great songs. I love all the songs. in the
Yeah.
movie. But
I'm trying to remember the songs. Yeah. There's that helicopter. What's the song with that helicopter?
I love you.
Yeah. They jump out of
Sanjana,
a
I love
helicopter,
you.
dude. Imagine doing that for this movie. Like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah,
Imagine if you
they tried
die
to pass
doing that
off New
stunt.
Zealand as
Yeah.
Sundar Nagar. उन्होंने पूरा न्यूजीलैंड में शूट किया है, bro.
yeah, their house is like some incredibly big. Like it's got one.
Even regular scenes, you see पीछे
Yeah.
ओशन ड्राइव दिख रहा है, बोला ये कौन सा सुंदर नगर है?
Yeah.
ये न्यूजीलैंड है.
So
The last time Ritik was in New Zealand, he made something fucking like Kahona Pyara happened. So he's like, how bad could it be if I just go back to New Zealand?
So that's the thing, right? So this was 2003. Okay, Kauna Pyara had come out, which was like amazing.
अभी खुशी कभी गम had come out.
Abhi Khushi Kabhi Gum had come out. Dude, as a kid, I really liked Mission Kashmir also. So
I
actually,
love Mission Kashmir. Love Mission
it was
Kashmir.
amazing. So then he has this four film run.
Oh
आप
my
मुझे
God.
अच्छे लगने लगे ना तुम जानो ना हम मुझसे दोस्ती करोगे and मैं प्रेम की दीवानी.
Yeah,
And-
Na Tum Jano Na Hum, I have to mention, is the first film I saw in a multiplex. Like, that was the first, like, we have a multiplex in Pune and, like,
Oh.
E
it's...
square,
come on.
E square.
Yeah, it was E Square.
Nice.
So that's the memory of that. It was, I think they copied, I think it was Sleepless in Seattle. I think it was a copy of that.
Wasn't
Natum
Sleepless
Jano
in
Na.
Seattle Kuch Kuch Hota Hai?
Oh.
Yeah,
Not
Sleepless
sure.
in Seattle is Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Is it? Wait,
बच्चा
what
हाँ
is-
बच्चा जाके अपने बाप को बच्चा calls the radio station and makes basically the child is playing the matchmaker. That
Even
is
Parent
what they
Trap
kind
is
of
like-
took.
kind
तो
of.
parent
Oh,
trap
You've
होगी.
Got Mail. You've Got Mail is Na Tum Jano Naam, I think. Where
You've
they're
Got
exchanging,
Yeah.
they're exchanging mails through like a PO box. That was the plot in Na Tum Jano Naam.
Bro, one
And they never
second.
interacted.
Bro,
One second.
there was this phase na, these 4 Hrithik movies. इसमें if you actually watch or like see the plot, it's similar in
It's
the
the
sense
same.
that
Kauna Pyara.
Just gonna say that.
ना तुम जानो ना हम is your whatever he's writing letters. मुझसे दोस्ती करोगे वो ईमेल कर रहा है. सिर्फ उसका मोड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन चेंज और कभी भी सही इंसान को नहीं कर रहा है. वो बात कर रहा है रानी मुखर्जी से, प्यार हो गया उसको करीना से, उधर उसको ईशा देओल से प्यार हो गया, बट उन प्यार नहीं हुआ. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah. Even मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ. Same thing.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I have to mention, like, I think Mujhse Dosti Karoge is actually an underrated bad film in the sense that I think Main Prem it's like the commercial bad film, everyone knows it. Everyone knows that. But Mujhse Dosti Karoge is like secretly worse, I feel like. It is Hrithik Roshan in the second half of that film, because like you said, the premise is that, right? Like he has 2 friends, Kareena and Rani, and he thinks he's mailing Kareena, but actually it's Rani who's responding, all of that. When he finds out that this has been happening after he returns from London, but they call him Mr. America. Anyway, whatever. So just like insane from the beginning. So in that, no, like when Hrithik Roshan finds out and he wants to get together with Rani now, but Rani's like, hey, family, like if the family knows you love Kareena now, Hrithik Roshan turns into like what I think is a serial killer. Like he is like threatening Rani Mukherjee. There are multiple. He locks the door behind her and then he grabs her arm. I'm like, dude, like he is the villain. Like this movie is going to end with Rani Mukherjee killing him, right? Like this is what happens. And like when Uday Chopra shows up, I'm like, maybe that's where we're going. Like he's the escape for her and all. No.
Bro, they've copied Truth About Cats and Dogs. So Kunal Kohli saw Truth About Cats and Dogs and he made this, and like every quintessential Bollywood copy, it starts off exactly like a Hollywood film and they're like, अभी इसको Bollywood तो बनाना पड़ेगा, right? इसको थोड़ा एक ये कर दो, which is all these scenes that you just spoke about, that's all original. That's not in Truth About Cats and Dogs.
My
Yeah,
favorite example of this Bollywood deification is which is the movie where they remade Primal Fear, where
Diwangi,
Yeah.
Diwangi.
Ayush Rana plays like he.
Ajay and Akshay Khanna.
I know what
Akshay
you're saying.
Khanna is
Yeah.
Richard Gere and Ed Norton is Ajay.
So what I liked about it is they saw Primal Fear, and Primal Fear ends on a downer. Okay, it's not a happy.
Lawyer
ending.
loses.
It's not a happy ending.
Yeah.
They saw Primal Fear. They're like, oh fuck, amazing tension, great plot, but ends on a downer. If you have to remake this in Bollywood, it has to have a second half.
That's just the first half. Like the film ends. The first half of Deewangi ends by Primal Fear. That's the full film.
Full.
Into Primal Fear.
Yeah.
But even Kante was like that. No, Kante was like Reservoir Dogs, but so I saw Kate first.
And
so
Usual Suspects.
So that's what I was going to say. They like Frankenstein remakes need to come back.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're missing. Like now they just straight up copy and they tell you also they take the rights and all. Why are they doing all like just combine two films?
Two films.
Yeah.
Bro, you know, somebody at a reliable source had told me once that in the Bhatt camp, apparently there was this one director who had broken through, and then he was figuring out what his next film should be, and they have literally come and given him like 6 DVDs. कि ये देख, ये choose कर, बना, हेलो आतिफ असलम, हाँ सुन ये, हेलो प्रीतम म्यूजिक देने का है, अच्छा सुन तू फ्री है,
इमरान
इमरान हाशमी, हाँ उसके डेट अपने पास ही है, बनाओ. And it's literally, bro, I watched the Bhatt version first, ठीक है, and then I find out कौन सा है, and then I go and watch the Korean movie it's remade from, and the Korean movie is banging.
Yeah.
Banging. And you're like, wait, you just had to copy it. How do you get that wrong?
Dude,
The
you know,
worst-
How do you
worst
go
version.
from Zinda? How do you go from Zinda
I was
to
just gonna
Old
say.
Boy?
dude, one of the
How difficult was this? How difficult a climb was this for you, Thakur, to go from Zinda to Old Boy?
No, but I watched Old Boy first.
I saw Zinda first, and I was watching it with my
no.
friends. I was watching it with my friends who had seen Old Boy, and they were like, "Hey, there's this classic film. I really need you to watch it." And I'm like, 10 minutes, and I'm like, "Ye to Zinda hai. This is like." And my friend got so mad. He's like, "How dare you?" The ending is different, though. I don't want to spoil. I don't know if I should reveal spoilers of Old Boy, but the ending is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't think you should spoil a movie that's 20 years old.
So, okay, I'll just say it. In Zinda, like in Old Boy, the ending is that he sleeps with his own daughter.
Yeah.
So that Bollywood was like, that's too far.
That's
We
too far.
can't. This is just
Yeah.
Lara Datta in our film. Like we are not doing.
Yeah.
We're not doing all this. That's a step
You
too
know,
far.
that's what I
Otherwise
wanted
we'll
to.
copy.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted
The
to see.
only
How
thing
would you?
there was left like if Lara Datta comes at the end and goes, "Would you rather?" You know, there's that one joke. If Lara Datta says at the end.
But
Oh
the
my
saddest
God.
thing about the remakes thing now was when I went to, and please do this, I went to David Dhawan's filmography. David Dhawan's filmography has 3 columns. It has year, it has film, and it has a column called notes. In notes, there is literally, they write either remake of or inspired by. And every film that I have loved growing up was either based on a remake of or inspired by.
Yeah.
So, everything. So Coolie Number 1, remake of Sinna Mapalai,
Great.
Mr. and Mrs. Khiladi, remake of. So he was basically South films he was pulling up, or he was basically taking. Deewana Mastana was inspired by What About Bob? Just every film
Yeah.
you like has.
Bro, he took Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I think, and he made Rascals. Worth
Yeah.
mentioning, because if you want to talk about cringe and bad, and
There
It
was a
was-
better
it was-
version. There was
Huh?
a better version of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Anil Kapoor and I think Shri Devi and Anupam Kher, which wasn't as bad. Which was actually like it had its moments.
Oh, which
There
film
is
is
a
that?
version. Yeah, there's a version of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Anil Kapoor, which is not that bad.
Dude,
And
Jirwa
I
was-
remember watching that growing up, and I'm like, "Arey," and I had that same moment that Karan did. I was like, "Arey, ye to." When I watched that, because then you're getting into comedy, you're like, "Okay, let me educate myself on like all these comics and like all the greats." And then you're like, "Acha, ye to dekhi hai maine. हाँ, इसमें तो उसकी माँ ये," and you know, but then Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is like all of them are bad. But then in Indian version, you have to be like Anil Kapoor is doing this because his mother is missing and he's been abandoned as a child. So then they try
Yeah.
to Bollywoodize it. So it's
Was it
like they're trying
Khel?
to get emotion. Huh?
Was it Khel?
Khel is I think serious.
Isn't Khel the Ajay Jadeja film, or is that a different one?
yeah,
And that's a different. Yeah, that's also a Khel.
It's Ajay Jadeja with Selena Jaitley, bro.
It was insane.
Never
That
mind.
run. Wait, how many films did he do, Ajay Jadeja? Did he do like a few?
This
was
one
it
I
just
remember. It was him, Sunil Shetty, Selena Jaitley,
Sunny Deol was in it.
Sunny
was in
Deol.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That
was
insane.
oh, bro. There was
Oh,
Vinod
it is
Kambli
Khel.
also. Even Vinod Kambli
It is
did.
actually Khel. Dude, Khel was the movie. So guys, if you want to watch Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Anil Kapoor version, go watch Khel.
No, but
Oh
you
my
should watch.
God.
You should watch the Ajay Devgan and Sanjay Dutt version with Kangana Ranaut in it. And bro, it is Bad means, there was this phase where Ajay Devgan had this French beard thing going on. Okay, he had French beard and he had that hair ऐसे
Off
which
the
was
tips.
brown color. ऐसे brown color का था. This is pre-body. Body नहीं थी. तभी वो सुकड़ा था and he would insist on wearing tight pink, yellow, green, like really fucking bright colors. It's not going with the rest of the palette. ठीक है? Now he's there in this. There's a scene, bro, in the movie where Ajay Devgan in front of Kangana pretends to be. He gets scared if he sees yellow color. Okay, so this now you know where this is going because he's in a room and Kangana is wearing a yellow shirt and he starts, nahi, 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 मैं yellow मैं नहीं देख सकता, and then Kangana has to take it.
Oh no.
And the director looked at that and said, cut, print, ये जाएगा और ये
Yes.
scene movie में.
Do you think we're not okay because we watched this film? Like, do you think this has had some like severe
Yeah, it has
damage?
affected
on-
us on some level.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
a reason why, like when we have conversations with other, like any other generation, I think it's always like it looks like we are scarred somewhere, and they're constantly going, "Oh, it's probably your parents, it's parental scars." And think, no, it's Bollywood. This is why we have problems. We have emotional problems.
So many stereotypes, right? That you just see in passing or through like, the comedy tracks in Bollywood. You just imbibe. Like for the longest time, I genuinely thought that every Watchman came from Nepal.
Yeah.
Purely based on the Bollywood films I had seen.
1 second, guys, please
Not
tell
one.
me. Karan,
Not
Karan,
one.
You might remember this because Kautuk and Aadar and I spoke about this. There was a movie called Gharwali, Baharwali.
Yeah.
In
I
the
remember
movie
it.
was Anil Kapoor, Ravina Tandon, and Rambha. And there's a scene where at some point of time in the movie, Anil Kapoor goes to Nepal, right? There, Rambha falls in love with him. Okay, but he doesn't love Rambha. Something happens, and Rambha now has to go through this one thing that women whose husband dies or something, they have to go through in that custom apparently. I don't know if it's correct or not. But to save her from that humiliation, Anil Kapoor agrees to marry her. Right? And again, I don't know the link, but for some reason, I think Ravina, his actual wife, can't have. He's already married, and Ravina can't have a child or something like that. One of the two. Ramba and Anil Kapoor have also hooked up. Right? And now this child who's living in Bombay with Anil Kapoor and Ravina Tandon, he's grown up now, he's some 6-8 years old. And there is a fancy dress competition in his school. And he dresses up as a watchman. So then everybody's ears stand up. Saying, एक मिनट ये तो कुछ भी बन सकता था ये वॉचमैन के कपड़े में क्यों है and at that point of time when I remember watching the movie not in the theater on TV or whatever you all laughed oh that's the connection and now when you go back and this scene is in my head bro Antariksh please
Yeah.
that's the correct one
Yeah.
bro and I'm thinking I said wow it was
Went with
it was a funny
The
scene.
way Varun narrated this story is, I think, exactly how the writer pitched it to the director. It's like Anil Kapoor goes to Nepal and then something with Ramba, and this is exactly how the script was created.
Dude, and like for example, we were rewatching Hadh Kar Di Aapne. Is that the one where
Govinda.
Govinda.
Ding ding ding
Yeah.
ding 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 ding
he
ding.
pretends, that, and then he's in he's in a hotel room, and someone switches on the TV. Okay, and he has
And he is the TV.
he has to play the characters in the TV to whatever make it look like the TV is on.
But it's that old
And
gag. It's
it's-
a fun old gag. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like 3 minutes of the most racism that they could put into a
Oh
film.
no.
It's just 3 minutes of unadulterated. He comes
No,
with
but that,
Chinese
you're saying
man,
that with today's lens, na, bro.
today's
At that
lens.
point of time when the movie came out, I remember people discuss, अरे वो क्या scene है, bro? सिर्फ गोविंदा ही कर सकता था वैसा because he's literally एक कुछ Chinese गाना बजने लगता है and he is dressed up as
as a Chinese person.
Oh,
Shaolin
no.
monk and he does
Okay.
this. Then the guy who's watching this TV is so drunk. He's like, अरे ये क्या है? Then he presses the remote. Except TV नहीं है अंदर से खाली है और गोविंदा है अंदर. So he keeps
Bro,
changing.
kapde vapde bhi badal. I love that suspension of disbelief in the gag. Like this is this old gag but it's just
Again,
we all
copied
kind of go
gang.
with it. Huh.
Is that the most disguises? I think like something. There's a record of like how many characters either Rani played or Govinda played. Like
Govinda.
Govinda.
And bro, fuck, you hit the nail on the head because वो टाइम पे ना सोशल मीडिया प्रमोशन नहीं था, तो क्या बात कर रहे हैं मूवी के बारे में? Something has to go in the papers, right? So it is most roles played by Govinda because in the movie, Govinda's mom is played by Govinda in drag. Govinda's dad is played by Govinda in drag. Govinda's Dadaji is played by Govinda in
So
Get
it's
Up.
Nutty Professor. Basically, he's doing Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
Sab kuch. Sab
Dude,
kuch.
So here's the other thing, right? Like I feel like about comedy movies in India, the strange, like two things I want to talk about. One is this, ki mostly when you come across a comedy film and you really like a set piece, you just know like deep down कि ये कहीं से तो छापा है.
Hmm.
And like this happened recently to me where again we were rewatching मैंने प्यार क्यों किया, okay, which has some of the cringiest acting I've ever seen done by Sohail Khan ever. Like it's
Yeah.
Comedy.
There's a
Is
lot
that
of
Sohail Khan doing comedy? Yeah, Sohail Khan doing comedy is horrible to watch.
he's got a weird voice and he's plays
Yeah,
the
and he
most
makes
annoying.
it's like I'm going to be cartoon, and basically he comes with that, and he just अगर तू सीधा मुंह लेके बोलता ना, it would have been funnier than doing whatever he's
Exactly.
doing.
But if you somehow get past Sohail Khan's acting, the movie is not bad, right? And I was like, how is it, what is happening? So I look up the wiki. It's like, of course, it's based on a French play, right? So, and it's happened so many times that you come across the set piece. Oh, this is really funny. This is really good, and you find out, oh, this is inspired from that.
But Kautuk, I feel like you need to give them credit for like watching a play. Like that is insane. Like someone like
I doubt he watched the play. I doubt there was some writer who was paid 10,000
Yeah.
rupees and told isko bana.
he went to watch a play, and then the funniest thing about you mentioning Maine Pyar Kyun Kiya is that Hollywood copied that. Like Hollywood did Just Go With It with like Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. And that was the copy of I thought it was a copy of Maine Pyar Kyun Kiya. So for the longest time,
So 1 second. You think Adam Sandler is sitting at his house going through Sohail Khan's filmography in the morning and he's like, "Aaj ye banaunga main."
listen, I do it on Tuesdays. Like I am like I just wake up and I look at Sohail Khan's filmography.
Bro,
but
look
also
Look at the butterfly effect, bro. Some French guy made this. Sohail Khan saw that. He's like, मैंने प्यार क्यों किया? बनाओ, बनाओ.
एक सेकंड पता है क्या? एक सेकंड. So I have to just read this out. Okay? The chain of remakes. So मैंने प्यार क्यों किया is a 2005 Indian Hindi language romantic comedy film. It is a remake of the 1969 American film Cactus Flower, which was an adaptation of the 1965 play of the same name by Abe Burrows, itself based on the French play.
Oh shit.
damn.
Wow.
Which is based on a cave painting that we found in Mohenjo-daro.
Which was based on hieroglyphs found in the pyramids.
So
Now to be remade again by Sohail Khan. It's like, ये अच्छा picture है.
One is the fact that कोई भी अच्छी फिल्म आती है तो इसका कोई precedent होता है which is not like original Bollywood. Like I mean, this is not all films, but like generally. And the second precedent, which I was talking to a friend again recently, कि what happened, dude? Why has comedy de-evolved in Bollywood? Because if you look at the comedy films that we were making, even for example, the comedy and non-comedic films, like Sholay has some really funny scenes.
Yeah.
It's got some really funny scenes, and they're all scenes devoid of pudding. You know, the sound effects. It's devoid. It's like a really nicely written,
That's
sophisticated.
because Asrani was making the same sounds with his mouth. So
Asrani is in fact the most over-the-top
yeah.
comedy track in that movie, but like minus that. Or for example, you take Chupke Chupke with Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra back in it. It's a great comedy, situational, with you don't have to point the audience to where the joke is. And in today, you can't have a comedy film without like
Because the
hammering it into
situation
audience.
was funny. The situation of Chupke Chupke, like one of the great comedy films of like I think of Bollywood, because it had the situation themselves were funny. Like Amitabh Bachchan losing his cool because he can't stand doing this charade
Right.
anymore, and just him panicking is such a funny scene. It has no like, "Arey dekho over the top." No, this guy is just panicking, and it's
Yeah,
so
like,
funny.
but what happened to our audiences? Like, audiences meaning like what happened to us? Like, why can't we fucking just watch a comedy scene and know where the comedy is?
Bro,
I
I'll tell
think it's.
you,
I think we got very. I think we got very like. I feel like so. There's two types of comedies now. One is obviously the Houseful brand, which is like they have to like underline every joke with like 7 background tracks so that you know it's funny. So it'll go toing, so you know like, hey, I need to laugh. And then the other one is the irony kind of meta comedy where everything is like a joke that's a reference to another joke that's a reference to something else. And it's not like no one, like Aadar was saying, right? Like the commitment to the bit and the situation is funny because they go all out. Like even the Govinda thing we talked about, he is committing 100% to this gag where he's inside the TV. Now it's like we have to look at the audience and be like, get it? This is a reference to this, or this is a reference to that.
It's a little condescending to the audience, I think. It's
Yeah.
it's the filmmaker, especially a filmmaker like Sajid Khan.
bro, I
who
was
is
literally
very
going. I think one of the
condescending.
biggest
It's like मेरे को ही
de-evolution of
पता है, तुम
comedies
लोग को पता नहीं है. हाँ.
started with Sajid Khan, and it's weird because I used to love Sajid Khan when he used to do sketches on TV. Ikke Pekka and all of that. He used to have that countdown show. It was actually funny. Like he would do like remember Extra Innings when Sony started showing cricket and Mandira Bedi had blown up because they used to do that thing. He used to have a spoof on that. Him and Suresh Menon. It was too fucking funny. So when he decides to come and make a movie, I'm like, fuck, okay, I'm excited because I've grown up watching his comedy, Host and Those, Sajid Khan, and like, real like bangers and somebody who understood comedy. Then he does Hey Baby, okay, whatever, 3 Men and a Baby, copy kar diya, chal, whatever. And then you just see one after the other where Hum Shakals, bro. I remember 2014, Hum Shakals came out, and that was one movie where collectively, audience, industry, I think everybody said, fucking shut up.
Shatti.
Like, this is
Shatti.
absolute
Just crap.
garbage. It's absolute garbage. For those of you who don't know what Hum Shakals is, good for you.
I also haven't seen it, by the way. I was spared. I haven't seen it.
Okay, Karan, look at this image. What do you think this movie is?
I just.
Yeah.
This is a key moment. This is a key moment in Hum Shakals. It's
Bro,
Saif Ali Khan
Is there a key moment in Hum Shakals at all? Like, I don't know.
the key moment is when you get up and leave and go home. That is the greatest key moment.
I didn't know Soha was in the movie.
Why does he look like Vicky the robot from वो कौन सा है एक टीवी शो
Small
होता था ना
Wonder.
where there's a
Small
Small
Wonder.
Wonder. He looks like Small Wonder.
Bro, to give you a one-line plot of what Hum Shakals is, okay? Hum Shakal has what Saif, okay, and I think Ritesh Deshmukh, right? Who's the other guy? Their
Yeah,
uncle
and then they have
is
the TV actor.
They have a Ram Kapoor, and their
Ram
evil
Kapoor.
uncle wants to get this guy admitted. Ashok and Kumar, they're called. Haha. See, he said Ashok Kumar. Get it?
Fuck.
And he wants to get them admitted to an asylum so he can take over the property. Except when he tries to do that, they have duplicates who actually are people with mental problems, which is ripe for jokes apparently. Because they talk like deranged kids, and it's played by
Oh.
Saif and Ritesh Deshmukh only. It doesn't end there. They have a scene in the movie which features cocaine parathas. Cocaine parathas. At one point, this guy starts trying to snort the paratha, bro.
But अगर तू कोकेन पराठा में डालेगा तो वो आटे के अंदर मिक्स हो गया है ना लाइक नमक तो तुझे खाना ही पड़ेगा ना इट्स एडिबल
ब्रो इससे मालूम पड़ता है कि साजिद खान ने ना कभी कोकेन किया है ना पराठे खाए हैं दोनों
I think it's just I think कभी स्क्रिप्ट भी ढंग की लिखी नहीं है it's just one of those it's just that I think his collective filmography has led to the dumbing down of what comedy is on like I think people just stopped making comedy after that.
No, I think
Just
it's
like
that
bust karo.
coupled with I think even television comedy has become that only, na? And that's a huge part of the thing. And television comedy suddenly started like literally we have like it's so bizarre if you watched it from a non-Indian perspective. कि एक comedy like literal comedy television show में there is a person sitting who is a laughter track. Like that's their job. Like they just sit and laugh at the thing. It's crazy.
Bro, in
Yeah, that-
Hamshakals, Saif plays a stand-up comic.
Stand-up comic.
Okay, and his career is not going well. And writing is on the wall because he is an Indian stand-up comic doing stand-up comedy in Hindi for a completely white audience in London. And you're like, oh, maybe.
This is me. Yeah. Now I'm wondering why things are not working out.
You're like, maybe you can try some jokes. Oh, you can point out cultural differences between India and the West. No. Actual scene in the movie. Saif does a joke. कि एक बार 4, 5 और 6 साथ में थे, वो 7 से क्यों घबराते थे बताओ. और फिर सब गोरे ऐसे कि चूतिए तू हिंदी में बात क्यों कर रहा है, तो लंदन में.
No, I think he said it in
Guess the
English.
punchline. Guess the punchline.
It's the
7,
Oldest
7,
joke in
8,
the book.
9.
Because 7, 8, 9.
Man, I've never heard that one before. Wow, that's
Yeah,
like really
bro.
new. Who wrote that?
Bro, he has just put this.
Bro, there
He
is a
just
joke in
put
this where he goes, अगर एक सैंड्रा नाम की लड़की ने सांड से शादी की, तो what will we call her?
Oh no.
सैंड्रा बुलक.
Badam.
God. Can you
बड़म
imagine
डिश
if
नहीं, वो
Sandra
आदमी ने
Bullock-
ड्रम लेके फेंक दिया है खिड़की के बाहर. That is the drum dishes, the drum landing on the ground somewhere outside the building.
But I actually want to ask you guys, because like as stand-up comics, have you seen like good representation of stand-up comedy in a film? Like, so for example, like my reference point
Bollywood?
was in Bollywood, yeah. Because like my reference point was when I first discovered what stand-up comedy was Seinfeld. Like I watched Seinfeld and he used to do his stand-up set in it, and I was like, oh, this is a thing that people do. I didn't know about it before then. So that was like, and I actually enjoyed those parts more.
Where I saw stand-up comedy for the first time was a cartoon called Little Lulu. I don't know if you guys
Little
have seen
Lulu
this.
show.
The
Cartoon
Little
Network
Lulu
Cartoon.
show. Yeah, where she would have, and it was taken off Seinfeld. So when I saw Seinfeld, I thought, oh, these guys are copying Little Lulu. But Little Lulu was basically a girl who's living her life as this teenage girl, and then every time something happens in her life, it cuts to a stand-up bit on her with her on stage, and they were good stand-up bits where she would talk about being a teenager and like a kid, and then that was my first exposure to stand-up. Like even that bloody
in
cartoon.
Bollywood,
Yeah.
the representation of stand-up has been abysmal because एक तो ये सैफ वाला था. The other movie I remember where the actor played a comedian was Befikre, where Ranveer Singh is
Is
a
in
stand-up
Paris.
comedian.
With
In
French
Paris.
speaking audience के आगे चलो अभी इंग्लिश में कॉमेडी करते हैं.
You know, the one which was like closest to it was अभी खो गए हम कहाँ में. Siddharth Chaturvedi played stand-up comic, and that was still like it was palatable. You're like हाँ ठीक है ऐसा करते हैं. थोड़ा उसको you have to Bollywoodize it and get the story and into it, but because Sapan worked on it, so you know that an actual stand-up comedian has been called in to come and train your actor, and then you put some effort into it. You know how they do like my method acting kiya. So I remember seeing Sapan and Siddharth at a lot of shows, going, trying out material, doing all of that. I don't think they did that for Befikre, and definitely didn't do that for Hamshakals, because it's Sajid Khan and hubris is like, bhai, comedy mera hai. Anything I do is going to be amazing.
I can't believe how he is. Like you guys shared that interview with me before, like Himmat Wala was coming out, I think.
Yeah.
Like he was promoting it, right? And like obviously, you know, I get that you have to promote your film and sell it and big it up and all. But he legitimately said, like, I'm glad that Ye Jawani Hai Deewani did not release at the same time, because it would have hurt that film. He was being it would have hurt that
you're saying
film.
that Himmat Wala would have hurt Ye Jawani.
Yeah, so I'm glad that it didn't come out at the same time. And I was like, wow, thanks, man. That's really nice of you.
He said that he had improved the dialogues of Kader Khan in his version
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
which was
Great.
that's a wild claim. By the way, I have to
Speaking,
read
by the
out-
way, 1 second. Are you still talking about Himmat Wala?
Yeah.
Wait,
Himmat Wala
before
to-
that, I wanted to just
Ah.
take you through some of the reviews of Hamshakals. So there's a section on Wikipedia of critical response, okay, of Hamshakals. It's something to read. It has a 0% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, shocker.
Okay.
If there was an option to actually throw a tomato on screen and it could go
They didn't-
hit Sajid Khan in the face every time, I would pay for that
100% audience
subscription.
wanted to throw tomato on Sajid Khan's face.
Wait, 0% audience, is this the audience score?
Zero, no, this is the reviews.
That's insane. Okay. Wow.
0%.
Bro, that is still 0% more than what it should have gotten, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mihir Fadnavis wrote in first post. They said, "Sexual tomfoolery, shrieking and hamming aside, there's much more to hate about this family movie. It's disturbing to see such an atrocious, regressive, misogynistic, sexist, homophobic cinematic product force-fed to paying audiences. I can understand that a comedy need not be safe, but what goes on in Obstacles is simply too horrifying to bear."
Bro, they have dwarves in the movie, right? Because again, right for comedy, because they are at the exact same height of a person standing in front of him, the exact same height as per the crotch. So hey, won't it be funny if you just go bang into it and ha 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 ha? Yeah. उसमें अगर तू कुछ एक there's a if you say something, the guy starts screaming. If you mention one word, then there's cocaine paratha. There's something that you do or eat that turns you into a woman, and that's why these guys are all dressed like that. Fucking.
I gotta read this one last passage out, okay, before we move on from Obstacles. Ready? Several of the cast members also lamented their involvement in the film.
Yeah.
Bipasha Basu didn't participate in the film's emotions, calling it the worst experience of her life. Isha Gupta warned family members not to see the film. After the release of the film, lead actor...
I love Isha Gupta just going like, अरे चाचा जी को हार्ट कंडीशन है ना, उनको मत भेजो पिक्चर देखने के लिए.
It's funny because the word warned is not like requested family members to not watch it. Told family members, warned. Dekhna mat. Ye picture mat.
And with all respect to Isha Kopikar, like, you know, I actually think she's a good actor. Isha.
Gupta.
Oh, okay, I thought Isha Kopikar. I was gonna say like.
With all respect to Isha Kopikar, Isha Gupta should not have done.
Yeah, Isha Gupta should not have been warning her parents.
Anyone named
Just
Isha.
with respect to Isha Kopikar. And you know what? Isha Deol also should not let anybody from her family watch this movie.
Saif Ali Khan said, "I have been introspecting a lot and will never repeat a mistake."
And like, look, I love Saif, but think about the ground that covers. Like how many, like especially 90s Saif, he's gone through so many bad films, right? Think about what that means, that he had to introspect about his career. That's how bad it was. But that's also like one thing that I found really interesting, to bring it back somehow to Preeti Zinta's filmography that I was mentioning. Like in 2000, this reminded me of that. Is that back then the volume, like the volume of films that were coming out, right? I was looking at, like, if you just see the amount of films that Preeti did from her debut, right? And for some reason, I was just trying to compare it to an actor today. I was like, how many films are they doing? Janhvi Kapoor, right? So Janhvi Kapoor she started in 2018, 6-year stretch. 6-7 years, she did 7 films, I think. 7, maybe 8. Preeti Zinta, I think, did something like 22 films that same time. Like something crazy like that. And I don't know if that's a good, like, I'm not saying that this is like a good practice, because, like, you know, look at the films they were making. But I do think there's something to be said for, if the kids that made Nadania had like 4 releases, and then it was just like Nadania was one of them. So you kind of moved on quickly. Now Nadania is like, it'll be canonized as this was the worst film.
It festers,
that they did. It festers, and then they have to wait another year, and then their next film will be like, all eyes on that film. Instead of they did 3-4 films, it's like, okay, move on.
No, but
it's the Akshay Kumar principle.
Akshay Kumar is just always be on set. But Preeti Zinta, in that whatever, like that initial few years stretch, Soldier, Dil Se, it had films like insane shit. Yeah, so it's like she was doing insane kind of stuff in those, like even being able to shoot like, "Arey, 2 mahina picture, next. 2 mahina picture, next."
Yeah.
So
there's something to be said for that.
Even Akshay Kumar, like, there was a phase where usko kuch nahi mil raha tha, and then suddenly Hera Fairy became a hit, right? And you're like, fuck, Akshay Kumar. And then he doesn't say no. He doesn't work on Sundays. He doesn't say no. He didn't say no, at least in the 2000s, to any fucking movie. So by the time you go to one and be like, ye kya chutiya, piche 4 aur picture aa gaye.
Yeah.
So suddenly you've forgotten about it. Like, for example, you guys
You
know
say that
this
same
movie
sentence
called
over 4
Sween,
movies.
8 by 10.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
Bro,
What a film.
you know where it came back to me? तो अगर तेरे घर पे Samsung TV है ना, then they have a default Samsung TV movie channel. And for some reason, my Samsung TV movie channel decided only movies from late 90s, like 98 to 2008, maybe 2010. ये movie, they just keep showing again and again. So it has all your classic Bollywood comedies that were really killing. And then suddenly that day, this movie came. And I see Akshay Kumar like that, okay? And he sees the picture. And then the camera crash zooms on his eyes and whoo happen. And he gets transported to where this picture. That is his superpower in the movie.
Can I
He-
just tell you?
Oh, this is a Black Mirror
the plot-
episode.
Yeah.
Wait. The plot of this movie is in the film, an Alberta-based forest ranger.
Yeah.
Just wait. We'll just pause for a second so that sentence. Okay. Alberta-based forest.
This is Alberta, Canada.
Yeah. Not Alberta, Punjab.
This is when he was in the process of getting a citizenship. So it's like, चल Canada में एक दो picture shoot करते.
Alberta-based forest ranger uses his mental ability to enter a photograph and re-experience the events from a person's point of view to solve the mystery behind his father's death. Believed to have
One second, did this happen? What year did this movie come out? What year did this movie come out?
2009.
2000. Oh, so this is after Harry Potter. So, so basically they're using the pensive and trying to
I highly doubt that
create
you
an
think of-
entire.
No, you
I
can-
think that is
worse.
what it is. Okay,
It's
get into
worse, though.
memories. Yeah,
It's worse
way
because
worse.
it's just a photo. It's like just a photograph, and I feel like it's such a useless superpower because like if you're investigating a crime, which he is in this case, I feel like there's less photos around that time because you can only go to that specific time like a minute before or something. It's like there's a time limit on his superpower also where he can go back in time 1 minute to see what happened from different people's point of view.
It's like the
Yeah.
iPhone
Like-
thing now, no? When you take a picture,
It's a live image.
a live image.
Yeah.
So,
Suddenly
like, what
you're
a
just seeing
useless
Akshay Kumar
superpower.
open like the last shot should be just Akshay Kumar opens a centerfold of Playboy and just gets into the photo.
That's what most dudes who had this superpower. ये कहाँ हुआ था? Playboy में जो घुस गया.
You can tell that this movie was made before Instagram, right? Because like, imagine this guy with this superpower. Just
Oh,
opening
shit.
Instagram going, oh fuck.
तू zoom कर सकता है ये साला पिंच की जगह अंदर घुस जाता है फोटो के भाई सबके प्रोफाइल पिक्चर के अंदर घुस गया है बड़ी
The
No, but
worst
if you
part
have
of
to
this
think-
film.
If you have to think from a sci-fi perspective, right? Like you think about fucking Minority Report, bro, precogs, they can think of when the murder is
Yeah.
going to happen and then you can go and stop it before it happens. Okay, not same, but still like in terms of broad idea, chalo, kar sakte hain. But for some reason, we'll take anything like that also and make it the most chutiya piece of shit. Bro, I'm not kidding, वो आधे पिक्चर में ऐसे ही है. Because एक बार वो घुस जाता है ना फोटो के अंदर तो he's in a trance.
The worst part of the film is not even that. The worst part is that the twist at the end is that like the person who killed all these people is Akshay Kumar's twin brother, who he had forgotten about this entire time. Like his life, he lived his entire life not completely. He had like very convenient amnesia about his brother, who didn't. and Aisha Takya, who's his like wife, is also with that other Akshay Kumar. Like that's I don't know who she
you're
dated
right.
first.
You're right. Karan, you're right. Most of the critics criticize the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
oh really
And this bullshit came out.
There's this incredible shot where like he finally gets the right point of view of his own dad like falling into the water, and as he's falling down in slow motion, obviously under the yacht, because this death happens on a yacht, like under the yacht you just see Akshay Kumar's face like peeking out. With like it looks like a cardboard cutout of Akshay Kumar. Like literally it looks like someone who's just holding that up. It's so bad.
Okay, guys, since there is so much to talk about in the verse of Bollywood, I think it will be disservice if we try and just cramp it all into one episode. So, unprecedented, first time ever, we are going to do an extremely long episode, but split it into two parts. This is the end of part one. Next week, part two is going to come out, and trust me, you want to come back for that because there's a lot of crazy stuff. How crazy Bollywood medical science is, to give you an idea. And other such crazy stuff we've spoken about. So this is the end of part one. don't go anywhere. I mean, go for a week and then you come back next week to watch part 2.
Don't just sit in front of your laptop.
Yeah, don't just wait. That is gonna come out. No. थोड़ा time लगेगा. एक हफ्ता लगता है.
Yeah, but come again next week for part 2.
Yeah, this was Aapka Suru. Next week,
Yeah.
Mera Suru.
Tera Suru.
तेरा शुरू.
क्या बात है?
So Nutan takes the baby. She goes to the door of the train and throws away the baby. And she's like, okay, I'm going to take care of my other twin, as much as possible.
But-
she hugs the twin and she realizes she threw away the wrong baby.
Shit, no.
And that's when the credits, that's when the title slate comes in. Sone Pe Suhaga. This was the greatest cold open anybody has ever written in Bollywood.
Dark Knight who, man? This is...
Bro, this is you throwing away the wrong baby. They should have called this Lapata Babies, bro. So, for those who don't know, Karz with 3 Z's is the Himesh remake of a 1980s movie by the same name called Karz, but spelled normally, like normal people.
Dino Moria.
Dino Moria, who dies and then gets reincarnated. That Himesh, which should classify this movie as sci-fi because ये suspension of disbelief थोड़ा ज़्यादा मतलब
20 years pass and she has aged like fine wine. She's the same. Okay,
Which is Urmila.
the same.
She's become
Yeah.
hotter. Possibly she's become hotter even. So it's like...
And she has a very active social life. Okay. So basically, one character tells you about her schedule, which is Saturday nights को casino, Mondays को golf, Tuesdays को races.
एक मिनट संडे को क्या कर रही है?
I'm going to tell you stuff that only you or your husband would know. Are you ready? She's like, yeah. So he says, जब तुम kiss करती हो, तो तुम आँख बंद करके kiss करती हो. जब तुम 10 बजे सुबह 10 बजे तक कुछ खाती नहीं हो, तो तुम्हें acidity होती है.
Wait, what?
Oh shit, Kareena Kapoor. They're watching the movie and चल रहा है कुछ चुतियागिरी usual, फिर एक गाना आता है इस प्यार को मैं क्या नाम दूं, great song, right?
Banger.
रब्बा
मेरे रब्बा रब्बा. But जब ये मूवी में रब्बा मेरे रब्बा हो रहा है, randomly तुषार कपूर और करीना है, लेकिन 4 लड़कियां they just show up for this chorus. रब्बा मेरे रब्बा 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 मेरे रब्बा and they are everywhere. उन लोग ऐसे कॉलेज में उधर ये लड़कियां 4 ऐसे आ जाती थी. They are not friends. They are not.
It's funny,
they're
actually.
just random 4 girls. Just
fun, yeah.
Bollywood का होता था कि background dancers.
Yeah.
Dude, my dad did the same thing your dad did. He got up. He's like मेरे को सब नहीं देखने का. ये काय चालू है इकडे.